It sounds like I'm talking about the birds and the bees here. Okay, this is the birds and the bees tasteful nodes version, okay? Hi everyone, it's Melissa, your plantita abogada here at Tasteful Nodes, coming to you today with a pretty awesome video, if I say so myself. It's about hybrids. Yeah, I think this is our first one. I'm really excited about the plants I have on my table. I think it's really important that I run through my disclosures though, just because they're pretty important for this episode. So let's jump right into them, okay? 1, KKB tayo, kanya-kanyang bayad. For our Westerner friends, that means we each pay our own way. So I've got these pretty awesome hybrids. We've got Anthuriums, we've got Philodendrons, and we have only a limited wallet. So I guess my suggestion is, let's spend prudently, let's not spend our rent money, and let's enjoy the hobby safely. Number 2, I'm an attorney by training. I'm not a botanist or a horticulturalist. And anything that I do share with you is likely going to be based on my opinion or observations that I've made. Any factual information that I do share, I'll be sure to include a source at the bottom of the screen so that you can go ahead and look into that further if you wish to do so. And then number 3, just because I'm not an expert, I would suggest finding people within your local community who are experts in this area. So if you want to do some hybridizing of your own, or if you are looking for hybrid plants, find the people in your area who do this. They could give you invaluable information such as, techniques, pricing, and how to raise these kinds of plants in your area. So aside from the invaluable information that they could give you, it's never a bad thing to have another plant friend. Okay, now that that is out of the way, these plants, I'm really proud to say, are from friends of mine. They are the dynamic duo behind Ruah's Garden and Services. And in particular, it would be the mad scientist, Josh Lopez. So he and his sister, Mabel, run the family business. If I remember their story correctly, their mom was the one who started the family business selling orchids. They had a shop in Cubao that's still there until now. And they also have a bigger greenhouses. Gosh, I can't remember how many they had. 4, 5 greenhouses in a more temperate area in the Philippines called Silang, Cavite. Anyway, I'm digressing. So these two, Josh is an accountant and Mabel is a teacher. They decided to just go back to the family business and they've done wonderfully with this. So aside from expanding from orchids, which is what their mom started with, they've expanded into ornamentals and they've further expanded into hybrids. Pretty awesome if you ask me. I love a good success story as much as the next person does, right? But the fact that these siblings were able to elevate what their mother already established before them and make it even better is just something that I love sharing with people. I don't even know where to begin. Maybe I'll start with terminology really quickly. Okay, so I want to get the terminology right, so I'm just going to read off my notes that I have here. According to the Iowa State University, a hybrid is a result of pollinating one specific variety of a class of plants with the pollen of another genetically different variety of that class. So it could be a hybrid of a couple of cultivars. It could be a hybrid of a cultivar and a species. It could be a hybrid of a species to a species. What matters is that they're different plants because theoretically you could have 2 of the same species that have different characteristics. Trust me on this, it exists. But yes, so 2 different plants versus clones, which are usually, as from what I've experienced, are cuttings from the same plant. So there's no genetic dilution, I guess, if you want to put it that way, of a plant's genes. It's still the same plant that's just been cut and propagated that way. So that's a clone versus a hybrid, which is a plant that's developed by combining the genes of two different plants. Okay, so we've discussed hybrid, we've discussed clone. I have two more vocabulary words which are really important to this video, so let me run through those really quickly, okay? The third vocabulary word that I have is grex. So a grex refers to all of the, I guess, to put it in layman's terms, right? It refers to all of the babies, to all of the offspring of the two plants that were hybridized together. Does that make sense? So we put two plants together, boom, we got seeds, right? All of those little plants, all of those little seedlings that grew from that pairing is a grex. Grex share similar parents, but because each parent is an individual with its own distinct characteristics, so these offspring may actually have different characteristics inherited from both parents. That is why grex is so important, is because not all plants get a cultivar name. I guess it's really important to note that just because plants have the same parents doesn't mean that that's what the offspring should all look like. A particular example that comes to mind is Florida Beauty, and that is a hybrid that resulted from a cross between Philodendron squamiferum and Philodendron pedatum. I can't remember which one is the seed parent. I don't know if that was ever discovered. If I find that information, I'll put it at the bottom of the screen. I'll go ahead and make a little note of that because that's not part of the definitions I prepared, so I'll have to look into that. So the pedatum, we know of 6 different forms of the pedatum. We have the green form that everyone knows as the species. There's the red petiole pedatum that's popular in Europe. We have them here in the Philippines. I have one in my collection. We have the variegated pedatum, lovely plant. Have one here too. We have the pedatum gladhans. We have the pedatum crucifolium, and we have the pedatum polypodioides. Polypoipoi. Okay. So any one of those 6, plus one of the squamiferum or variegated squamiferum, could technically be hybridized together to form what is believed to be the Florida Beauty, right? Wrong. Okay, so yeah, Florida Beauty is a pedatum and a squamiferum. However, the offspring are called grex. And out of the grex, a cultivar was chosen, and that is what we now know as Florida Beauty. So Florida Beauty is a cultivar, and that's the next definition that I have. 1 second. Okay, according to Penn State, the term cultivar is a blended word for cultivated variety, cultivar. Unlike a naturally occurring variety, cultivars are usually bred by humans. Many cultivars are hybrids of 2 plants, but they can also originate as a naturally occurring genetic mutation called a sport, such as a branch with variegated leaves, and that's where a lot of our variegations come off of as sports. Unlike a variety, a cultivar propagated by seed does not produce a plant with the same characteristics as the parent. Thus, cultivars can only be propagated by cuttings, grafting, or tissue culture. We've established that a grex is not a cultivar. A grex are the offspring, but the cultivar is the selected form of an offspring. And then a clone is a cutting or a asexual propagation of that specific cultivar. Now, I mean, another way to do that is through tissue culture, but we're not talking about that today. Okay, now that that is out of the way, I wanted to take a second to point out that everything here on this table is a grex. These are all offsprings. They are not named cultivars. And as gorgeous as they are, hi baby, the Lopez siblings haven't named them yet for release. In fact, only so many people have these hybrids just yet. But if you look at their page and you follow their page, they always update people with their hybrids. And they've got a couple more that I really, really, really want. And I'm just going to have to wait for release. These all need names. So if you guys have any suggestions, drop them in the comment section. I'll be sure to send them screenshots of your suggestions because these are pretty awesome. I think I'm going to start with the Paraiso verde hybrids first. So if you guys remember what you were doing during the pandemic, some of us were out planting plants, some of us were planting vegetables, some of us were learning how to bake, and some of us were making hybrids. Joshua was up late at night making hybrids, right? And that's why I called him the mad scientist. Is when we visited their garden for the first time, it was just for a garden tour. I've heard lots of things about them. I've seen the plants that they've put out, and I was really curious to see what was going on. If you guys are familiar with those silk jewelry bags, the ones that are kind of like a net mesh. So they pack these little, I'm just going to use this leaf as an example. They pack these little silk bags around the inflorescence so that in case seeds fell out, they would catch them inside the bags, which was a pretty awesome trick, but I didn't know that at the time. And as we walked through the greenhouses, there were plenty of plants with these little baggies on them. And then we got to that one greenhouse that just completely blew our minds. My husband was excited by this greenhouse. There were trays and trays of all of these seedlings. All of these hybrids were things that Josh created while you and I were sleeping or having, online drinking sessions with our friends, having game night online. Yeah, he was out there hybridizing. And, it's always been a joke that Josh is out there with his flashlight to catch pollen. But, when you see the magnitude of what this guy has really done, it's just mind-blowing. Okay, I always say that his sister is Beshi ng Bayan, or bestie of the country. She's everyone's best friend. Like, everybody loves her. As outgoing as Mabel is, Josh is the opposite. He's incredibly shy. He's quiet until he gets to know you. Then he's loud and he's got that sharp wit that just cuts. Yeah, the guy does not say a lot, but when he does, I mean, we're all in tears. He's just hilarious. These are Josh's babies, and he's done a wonderful job making them, and he's still continuing to make them. So I imagine that we're going to see a lot of them to come. So remember earlier what I said about Grexes? Let's talk about these right now. These are all Paraiso verde by Tenui. So this is what I'm talking about with Grex. You've got this beautiful, I guess, wavy margins on this plant. When you zoom in on this, you can see that the growth pattern of this is kind of like a Burley Marks, I guess, a Philodendron Burley Marks, where it's pretty thick at the bottom. Like, there are all these growth points. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 growth points in this one pot from this one plant. And that's from this one Grex by itself. This little Grex, it kind of reminds me of Alocasia flying squid. Or maybe Tiny Dancer. Yeah, one or the other. The leaves come out really, really long and very, very narrow, and then it opens up. It balloons up to this little cute little teardrop at the end. And this shares the same growth pattern as this guy does. There's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there are 3, I guess, branches off of this one plant. And, it's interesting. It's certainly interesting. But you could clearly see the difference between this plant and this plant, despite the fact that they're both Paraiso verde by Tenui hybrids. So this one is a plant that Mabel endearingly calls alien. So if this is alien, this has got to be predator, right? This one, to die for. This has to be my favorite. Although I do really, really love the texture of these leaves. They're paper thin. In fact, it kind of reminds me of a Holtinianum texture. So if you've ever touched one of those, and you know how papery thin those guys are, Yeah, this one's the same. This one, not so much, considering how much, I guess, smaller it is. You would imagine that it would be thinner, but it's almost the same texture, and this is much bigger. So I'm thinking that this might have a thicker texture once it gets to that size, if it gets to that size. So this one is also a Paraiso verde by Tenui. And check out those narrow leaves. It's gorgeous. Yeah, really, really nice. See that? This is the newest leaf. This guy is the newest leaf right here. And the growth pattern. So this guy, this first one looks like a climber. This one maybe is a climber. The inner nodes are very, very tight on this. Very, very tight on this one. This one, it's not. This one has about 1.5 inches of inner node between each node. This one is tight again. So these two are similar with how tight their inner nodes are. And I mean, he looks like a climber too, just because of that stem, but not a lot of aerial roots like this guy has. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about grex. Each one is a grex of Philodendron, Paraiso verde, and Tenui. I am excited to see what Ruah's garden is going to choose to be a cultivar, or if all three are going to be cultivars, what are they going to name them? Pretty interesting and exciting. Really, really exciting stuff. The next Philodendron hybrid that I have from them is this one, and it's pretty interesting to me. This is a Philodendron Paraiso verde by Moonlight. Now, if you're familiar with Moonlight, a Philodendron Moonlight is a self-header, so they don't really grow upwards. They're not climbers per se. Let me go find a good definition for self-header. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen. But this Grex has taken that characteristic from its Moonlight parent, comes across as a self-header for sure. It's quite gorgeous. It really is nice. I really find the petiolar sheaths attractive too. I don't know if you could see them. Oh, there you go. See that right there? They're pink or peach. It's really, really attractive, and they don't fall off. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them right there, and it adds this really attractive color to this whole plant. It's really nice. Really, really nice. I can't wait to see how big this thing gets, and I can't wait to see if this continues with that coloring, because it really adds something to it. I mean, yeah, granted, we haven't seen what an inflorescence of this looks like yet, but the petiolar sheaths, gorgeous. Gorgeous addition. Since I'm working from this area, I'll go ahead and go to the next one. This one is a big boy. I think I'll just move you out of the way for a second. This, my friends, I can't even fit in the whole screen shot with it. There we go. Okay, this is a Glorious by Melanochrysum. So the Melanochrysum parent has been seen in this twice, and it's obvious because look at this climber. Yeah, it is climbing, you guys. So you've got this beautiful velvet leaves. Yeah, very velvety. And I mean, you've got that beautiful color from the new leaf. There it is. Okay. Remember what I told you about them no longer selling any more of their Melanochrysum? This is why. Because they are now making Melanochrysum hybrids as well. And I mean, really, really special if you look at this. I love it. I cannot for the life of me keep a Melanochrysum alive, but this hybrid is doing great here. It's doing fantastic. I've had these plants since August. It's now October. Oh, it's now November. See what I'm saying? It's still alive. And another nice thing about it is, I need to knock on wood. There we go. Knock on wood. No spider mites. My problem with the Melanochrysum and the Varicosum, both of those, were spider mites. Each and every single time I had one of those guys. Spider mites. I mean, it was just spider mites. I hate them. Oh my goodness, they're terrible. But I've had this for months now. Not a spider mite in sight. So I've heard from people, and this is chisme if you want to call it that, that hybrids tend to be hardier, and You know, I don't know that for a fact, but from my experience, I see it. I see that here with this plant. I've seen it with my glorious. My glorious are huge. They get huge here. And the hybrids tend to do well. I'm actually looking at, past the camera, I'm looking at my Philodendron Pink Summer or Pink Glory. Pink, I can't remember, but it's a pink one. And that's doing fantastic as well. I think that's a Linamii hybrid. I mean, the hybrids do really well, and that's another argument for collecting hybrids if that's something you're interested in. I understand we can't collect all the hybrids because there are so many out there, but I would definitely have a selection of hybrids in my garden and in my collection just because of how pretty they are and how easy they are. And in my case, compared to my notorious history with Melanochrysum, Melanocry. Okay, I have two more philodendrons here, and oh no! Okay, sadness. This is the petiolar sheath for my next philodendron that I was going to pull out. And unlike the Moonlight Paraiso verde hybrid, which keeps its sheaths intact, this one doesn't. This one dropped, and this was its only one, and I'm so sad because it is so pretty. I mean, really, really gorgeous color, right? See that? It's so nice. But anyway, here we go. This is my Philodendron El Guapo by Paraiso Verde. And if you see there, see the variegations? Yeah. There are variegations. However, the variegations are becoming less and less. Yeah, this one has variegations as well. The new leaf I know has a variegation, and I took a picture of that. I hope it shows well on the picture, but it's very little. I can't wait for summer. And let me tell you why. Since it's a Paraiso Verde hybrid, one of the characteristics with Paraiso Verde that I noticed is that come wintertime here in the Philippines, it doesn't get very cold, but I think we've dropped down to maybe the 70s here on the farm. Not bad, right? But it definitely affects the color of Paraiso Verde. The leaves will get noticeably darker, whereas over the summer, or I guess maybe when we're in the 80s, when we're safely in the 80s, Paraiso Verde is just vibrant. The colors are, the background is light with that dark green speckling on it. Beautiful. And that's what I'm hoping to see. I'm really curious to see if this will produce more of the variegation like the Paraiso Verde does when it's hot summer. And I'm dying to see that. The texture of the leaves of this hybrid is more along the lines of the El Guapo. So it's got that thick, rubbery texture. The face, you've got that look alike as well, where you've got the beautiful wrinkles, the veins that go through the middle. It's wider. You've got a beautiful frill on the side. However, it's not curly like that one Grex is. This guy right here. You see the curls at the end? Waves? No. This one isn't. It looks more like a Mayoi if you want to think about it. You see it? Yeah. The sheath, like I discussed earlier, is peach when it gives out new leaves. And I mean, it's really nice. The petioles start out red and then they start to lose their color as the leaves get older. I don't see any EFNs on this, but absolutely an interesting plant and a beautiful one at that. I can't wait for this to get bigger, and I can't wait to test out my theory of heat with this guy. So let me show you. Let me show you the newest leaf. And there she is. There's a little bit of variegation. Itty bitty bit of variegation right there in the top corner. And then a little bit on the leaf. Okay, moving on. And this is a hard thing to admit as a plant parent. We shouldn't have favorites, but we always do. So this is my favorite. This is love right here. This is Philodendron. Oh my goodness. Okay, so seed parent was red Congo, and pollen parent is Paraiso verde. Yes. If you know what a philodendron red Congo looks like, they're broad, they're stocky, broadleaf, stocky growth. This isn't. This is growing like a philodendron Paraiso verde. So we're climbing up, slender. I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 branches in this one pot. I do love the dark glossy leaves with the red margins, just really stunning. I love the red stems. They are dark red. It's just beautiful. And then I love the red petioles, and I just like the red and green combination. And then we have that pink petiolar sheath that I keep mentioning. So it's just a combination of colors that's really attractive, and it makes a beautiful, beautiful climber when you need one for a space. I think I'm gonna see if I could split these up and put one on a tree and see how big it could get. Stunning. Stunning! Those are my philodendron hybrids. Let me run through my Anthurium hybrids. Before I start, let me just go ahead and apologize because they're not in the best condition because of all this rain we've been having. Oh my goodness, it's just been terrible. However, they did see like a glory period towards the end of the summer when, when the rain wasn't too bad. It was still nice and hot and it was raining and they loved it. Now they're not too happy. And I have a few more out there that I don't know who they are because the leaves are so tiny. So yeah, sorry Ruahs. I promise I'll do better. This, my friends, is a Anthurium Gigi by Variegated by Papilaliminum. Okay, it is Anthurium papililaminum. 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 Pappy! It's Anthurium pappy, okay? There you go. Gorgeous texture, leathery, really, really nice. I'm guessing that's from the Gigi because my pappy is not leathery at all. This is thick. It's beautiful. It's got those beautiful red petioles, red body. Yeah, I know it's trying to escape. But I will have to find time to repot it. Over here, like I mentioned, I can't keep the divas alive here. Well, this was their answer to that. This is a Anthurium warocquianum hybrid, and I don't know which one it is, to be honest. I've had warrocks over the years and I cannot keep them alive. I can't. They just can't survive how toasty it gets here. It gets dry. It doesn't get hot humid. It gets toasty humid and it bakes and dies. There we go. And this is actually doing quite well, minus, the poor fungus that you see on it. I don't spray antifungal. I've been so crazy busy. But it's doing well here. And over the summer where I said everything was doing great, I'll have to post a picture of that so you guys believe me. But it was really doing great. And now it isn't. Now it's got fungus, but it's got two growth points from the same plant. Three of them growing right now. So I hope that's not like a death bloom of sorts, but yay, it's nice and thick and lots of leaves. Really nice. This, my friends, is a Warocquianum by Magnificum. Look how long that thing is. Velvety. Really, really nice. But also cardboardy. Feel that texture. Definitely Magnificum. But you see the length. It's really, really nice. Really pretty. And we've got a dying leaf right here. It's okay. Really happy about this. This is the newest leaf. It's had a leaf jump. So I'm really excited that we're back on track with that guy. This is a dark crystallinum by Bessay. It's doing great. So it has characteristics from both parents, the crystallinum and the Bessay. And you've got this beautiful new leaf that comes out reddish, tannish at first. So you've got this mauve petiole that will eventually turn into a light green petiole. And it's a beautiful plant. Sorry, there was a spider. There's a spider web behind this. But yeah, really, really nice. Really beautiful. Happy about that. This is a crystallinum by Bessay hybrid, and the leaves on this guy, just fantastic, right? You've got that heavy veining. It's probably as velvety as the other one, the crystallinum that we saw. Yeah, so it is a crystallinum also, crystallinum bissei, and that one is a dark crystallinum bissei. Similar, but not the same, just because they share similar parentage, but not similar genes, I guess, for lack of a better term. My favorite is either this one, the one that I can't pronounce, or this one, which I can pronounce. This is a red crystallinum by Silver Blush, and then again by Silver Blush. So it's a red crystallinum by Silver Blush hybrid that's been hybridized again with a Silver Blush. And look at those beautiful veins. Just pretty, 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 pretty. And the newer leaves have this red margin to them. I don't know if you could see it against me right here, but a red margin, red petiole, which will eventually turn green. And I've got a baby on this one too, but I don't want to split them up. Hello, baby. I don't want to split them up, but yes. And that is the last of my crystallinum. Who is it? Crystallinum by Silver Blush hybrid. Okay, so that is it for this episode. However, that's not it for the Mad Scientists hybrids. So what I did is I went ahead and asked Mabel for pictures of their new hybrids so I could include them on these infographics that we could all check off as we collect their hybrids. Think of it as a Ruah's Garden bingo card. So that bingo card is going to be on my Facebook page and my Instagram page so that we could all collect together. Thank you so much, Josh and Mabel. Mabel and Josh, the dynamic duo of Ruah's Garden. You know what they say, plants make people happy, and you guys definitely make a lot of people happy. So thank you for sharing these plants with all of your followers and with me. You guys can check them out on Facebook. They're there as Ruah's Garden. Check them out. Share this video with people who love hybrids, and let's go get our bingo cards ready, because once you start releasing these hybrids, game on. Game on, guys. Just don't get between me and my wish list hybrids, and we're gonna be okay. If you guys enjoyed today's video, feel free to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, click that notification bell so that you get notified when I have a new video out. Check me out on Facebook too. If the videos once a week aren't good enough, and if you're all caught up, I will be posting the Ruah's Garden hybrid bingo cards on my page. And if you guys just want to look at pretty pictures right before you go to bed, check me out on Instagram. I'm there as Tasteful Notes as well. Such a great episode and just so much information to share. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, keep your notes classy and tasteful. Bye.